Hey, what is up, that worship sound family? This is a quick video. Well, it might not be so quick, but it's a video about how to use our newest product, Essential Worship Loops, in MainStage. All right, I got my downloads folder here, and this is the zip file of the product. I'm going to go ahead and expand that. And this is the folder you get here, and I'm going to go ahead and go inside. The folder that we're going to talk about now is called MainStage. If you do not have a folder called MainStage in your product download, then go back to our website, log into your account, and re-download the product. This is a new folder we added recently, so it was not part of the initial release of Essential Worship Loops. But if you re-download it, you'll be good to go. That folder will be there. Inside here, we have a couple different files. We have an audio file here, which is made up of, I would say, the top 9 loops from Essential Worship Loops, all back to back to back to back with markers. This is the kind of file that MainStage can read and use properly. We'll see how in a little bit. This second file is just a MainStage concert with our loop player in it. And you can take this concert and add your own patches or, your own layouts and things like that to it. Then these last two files here, this is a channel strip setting file, and this is a layout file. And these two will be used to add our loop player into the Worship Essentials standard or plus templates. So let's start with this concert file because this player is going to be pretty much the same as the one in Worship Essentials. So we can talk about both of them right here. A quick note is that we are using MainStage 3.7. So if you use these files on an older version of MainStage, it may not work so well, but 3.7 and higher, you'll be good. So this is our loop player that we made. And real quick here at the top, we kind of have a wave file or just a wave preview of the upcoming loop. Then underneath we have the ability to choose one of 9 different loops, and the names and the wave file waveform here is all just being pulled from this IDO file that we talked about briefly a second ago. We got a volume, we have a meter, we have a play and stop button, we have a knob for adjusting BPM and a knob for adjusting the pitch. This is set to sync up with MainStage's internal clock. So for example, let me turn this BPM a little slower. So 65. I'm gonna hit play up here. So MainStage internal clock is playing. I'll turn the metronome on real quick. So when I hit play, the loop will play on the downbeat of the measure. It won't just start in the middle of the measure or anything like that. This is useful when you have patches that are using like ARPs or BPM effects and things like that. Everything will sound nice and tight in MainStage. So I'm going to start this first loop, and you'll notice that even though I press the button whenever, it won't start playing until the actual downbeat of the measure. All right. So here I go here. Play. I don't have to have the metronome on. Basically, you can pick any of these and then hit play, and then it'll play once the MainStage clock gets back around again. I'm speed it up a little bit. You can also change the loops while they're playing, but as I mentioned earlier, the change won't happen until the exact time the measure comes back around. So it's a pretty nifty way to do it. The pad player also allows you to speed up and slow down. Oh yeah, also though, you can also play around with the pitch too while it's going. And of course, you can do many more things like add EQ filters. You could add reverb effects. I mean, go crazy. This is just kind of a starting spot. We want people to be able to take this and just go crazy with it. At That Worship Sound, we're always trying just to give people like really cool tools that helps inspire their creativity. So now that you know how this kind of layout and design works, let's talk about how to get this into Worship Essentials, which is probably, I mean, it's probably got to be the best-selling MainStage template of all time. We've been developing it for, man, so many years now, and it's really just an incredible tool used by just thousands and thousands and thousands of people worldwide. I'm going to go ahead and open up Worship Essentials Standard 3.2.1. And as a reminder, we're on MainStage 3.7. So these files might not work properly on older versions. So that's the little disclaimer here. Alrighty, we got Worship Essentials Standard open. I'm going to go ahead and make it full screen and kind of move some stuff around. The first thing that we're going to want to do is click at the top of the patch list on the concert name to get to concert level. So we can see all the channel strips here that are kind of global in this concert file. And we're going to add this essential worship loops.cst file into here. So I'm just going to drag it in, and I don't want to overwrite an existing one, like having it, you don't want two lines on either side. That's going to overwrite this entire channel strip. What we're going to want to do is set it up where there's just one line, and it's going to kind of insert this in between the existing channels. As you can see here, now we have this essential worship loops channel strip. It has the playback plugin here. And we're going to go ahead and open the playback plugin. As you can see here, MainStage has already loaded the essential worship loops file. However, if you open your playback plugin and it's blank, there's no like waveform here, and the file is blank here, then let me just click remove file so you can see what that would look like. If it's looking like this, blank, no file name, then what you're going to do is go back to this folder here. You're going to grab this AIF file. I'm still holding it. I'm still holding it. I'm still holding it. I'm still holding it. And I'm going to drag it right on top of that playback plugin here on this channel strip. Boom. It's loaded up and ready to go. All the settings, all this other stuff along here is already set and good to go. Yep. You don't have to do anything else other than just drag the audio file on top of the playback plugin. All right, now that our channel strip is good to go, let's go ahead and get this layout set. So I'm clicking on the layout tab. I'm going to go to the options here and go to import layout. I'm here at my downloads folder. I'm going to go inside the product. I'm going to go to MainStage and then open this file, essentialworshiploops.layout. You're going to get a scary message. It's not undoable, so on and so forth. So I'm assuming that you already have a backup of your concert file. If you don't have a backup yet, stop right now. Make a backup, like, go into the Finder, duplicate it, create a new name or something like that. Then pick back up here. I have a backup already, so I'm going to go ahead and click Continue Import. As you can see, it trimmed off a little bit of the drone tools section, moved the keys over, and then added a box over here in the corner titled Loop Tools. All right, we're back in edit mode, and now it's time to talk through the different parts of this Loop Tools player, and then we'll also assign these different screen controls so everything is back working how it's supposed to. Just a reminder, guys, we are still up here at concert level. We don't want to make these adjustments at patch level because we want these to be applied globally. So let's talk through the different elements. The first screen control here under Loop Tools is our waveform viewer. So let's go ahead and click on that. And then the option you want is Playback and Worship Essentials loops. And you'll see the kind of waveform automatically pops up. The next thing we want to tweak is our loop list. Right now it's just showing like the patch list. So we'll click on this and we'll set this as well to Playback and Essential Worship loops. There we go. Now we have a previous and next button here at the bottom. So for the previous button, I'll click on that. I'll go to Essential Worship loops, Playback, non-automable, transport, go to previous marker. And now for the next, we'll do the exact same thing. Essential Worship loops, Playback, non-automable, transport, go to next marker. All right, next we have our play and stop button. So I'm going to click on that. We'll go back to Essential Worship loops, Playback, transport, and then play stop from current marker. Next is our BPM. So we'll go to actions, scroll down here to tempo/temp tempo. And what I've been doing is setting the range max to like 130 and the minimum to like 50. The loops don't really sound good when they're super slow or fast. So it's kind of just a reminder not to go too crazy. Then underneath that, we have a pitch knob. So we'll go to Essential Worship loops, Playback, play options, pitch coarse is what we want. And I'll usually set it to +12 and -12. Also under parameter, I will set it to stepped. What that does is when I turn the knob, it kind of, instead of just constantly scrolling smoothly, it kind of snaps between each pitch. Next, we have just the regular volume control for the loops. So I'm going to click on this volume fader. I'm going to go to Essential Worship loops and just set that to volume. Here on the max range, I'll set it to 0. That way, if I crank this up all the way, it goes to 0. You can see it here. If you need a little more gain or it's kind of quiet, you can push it up a little bit. 0 is pretty safe because I know it won't distort at 0. Lastly, we just have our volume meter here. So I'm going to click on it. I will go to Essential Worship loops and then click on level. Just to help make that channel strip stick out, I'm going to set the color to magenta. Alrighty, let's give this loop player a try. So I'll jump to perform mode here and maybe piano and synths. Oh, maybe not. That worship sound is a good one. I'll turn this down a little bit though. Just a reminder, the loop player will sync these loops to MainStage's clock. What this does is that patches with arpeggios or BPM type of effects, things like that, will sync perfectly with the loop playing. You might say, what is MainStage's clock? I'll turn on the metronome just so you can hear it. Let me slow that down. So as you can kind of hear the downbeat, I'll play a little bit of this patch so you can kind of hear. MainStage clock is always kind of going. The clock is always running. All effects automatically sync up to it. The cool thing is that our loops will too. When I hit play on any one of these loops, the loop player will wait until the downbeat of the actual measure to begin the loop. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it starts to loop. This will happen for any of these loops. 2, 3, 4. Obviously, you wouldn't want the metronome running, while you're playing, but for this example, I'm gonna leave it on just so we can kind of hear the timing. Now, if, for example, I have a loop running, I can change loops while it's still playing, and it will just automatically start them on the downbeat of the next measure. So now we have ambient group 1 playing. Let's start the 5th one. Now I'm going to add a little bit of the patch to it. MainStage's clock kind of just helps tie everything together. All you have to do is adjust the BPM, and we can do tons of different things. You can also adjust while you're playing. Also, we have this pitch knob that we can adjust while we're playing too. So yeah, that's basically how you would use the loop tools with Worship Essentials. Hope you guys enjoy. Have lots of fun with either, using the loops in Worship Essentials, whether you're using them in the other MainStage template, whether you're just dragging and dropping them into DAWs like Logic, Ableton, Pro Tools. If you're loading them into drum pads, man, just have a ton of fun with them. Go crazy. Just use them anywhere you can think of. We're super excited that you guys are loving them so far, and we hope to even release more and more products. Maybe just a series of these loops or something would be super fun, super cool. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.